My name's Emily Birckhead. I'm a junior attending Bowie High School, and I'm going to talk to you guys about my ASP journey. I do ASP so I can give back. This was my second year going, and every time I go, I always learn something new, and I get a new respect for what I have. When you go to these areas where the smallest things mean so much to these people, you get a respect for what we would normally take granted for. I remember one day, my group and I had just got done working on the roof, and we were taking our lunch break. Liam, who was on my team, pulled out his guitar and started singing songs to our family's granddaughter. It was very peaceful to just listen and see how everyone was having a good time, even though everybody knew we were all tired and very hot. I feel like that could never happen here just by being in the city and all of the cars passing by, making it very hard to hear. Overall, despite the heat and sore muscles of ASP, I always enjoy going on. Meeting new people, giving back to the community, learning more about my friends from our church, it really helps you break out of your shell and get some real-life experience of what's going on around you. Thank you.
Hey, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Emily Bendlin. I'm currently a junior in high school, and this was my second year going on ASP. Because this was my second year, I thought I knew what to expect, but I hadn't really prepared myself for how different this year would be. Last year, I spent the whole week working inside. This year, I was outside. Last year, I was building walls. This year, I dug up about half of our homeowner's yard. The centers were different, the people were different, and the whole atmosphere was different. Don't get me wrong, though. It wasn't a bad different, not at all. It was a difference that gave me fresh experiences. Though ASP still had the same motto and we were still serving the same cause, this year was totally new to me, and I liked that. I like that ASP constantly surprises you, from the staff at each center to surprises on your work site. Now those can be both good and bad. A good surprise was finishing the day's work 2 hours early. A bad surprise was the 80-mile-an-hour winds headed towards our work site late Friday afternoon. Another good surprise was getting to work on 2 different sites during the week. Our crew finished our task for our site by Wednesday afternoon, so for the last 2 days we joined another crew, who had some setbacks earlier in the week. I felt privileged to be able to serve 2 families and to provide the extra hands needed by another St. Matthew's crew. Over the 2 different sites and the 5 days, my favorite story still comes from our first site on what was either the first or second day of work. As a bit of background, our first site was a trailer located at the bottom of a steep hill. At the top of the hill, behind the house, was a road, which increased runoff. Whenever it would rain heavily, our homeowner's yard was under 6 inches of water. To make matters worse, she didn't have an indoor toilet and would have to get through her flooded yard to use the outhouse. Our task was to dig a drainage ditch running around the back of the house, line it with house wrap, and fill it with gravel. This was made difficult by the amount of large rocks throughout the soil. We had been gifted with tools affectionately dubbed God rods, which were basically long metal rods with tapered ends that you use to break up and move large rocks. One of my crew members, Johnny, was especially dedicated to the task of breaking rocks. At a bend in the ditch, there was one rock that just would not move. He worked on it for what felt like hours and still couldn't get it out. We told him to stop, to come eat lunch, and that we would just widen the bend to make up for it. He did as we asked, but not without one last bitter jab at the rock. But Johnny still wasn't done. He finished lunch early and went back to beat up the rock some more, as the rest of us watched from tree stump seats. Finally, as we were all beginning to work again, he got it. He broke up the rock enough to pull it out of the ground. Johnny was more stubborn than a rock. This story was my God moment at the end of ASP, where we all sit around and share a moment that we felt we could really feel God. And I felt like I should share it with you all today. Maybe we all need to be a little more like Johnny. Let the God rod help you break your rock.